Looking into sophisticated programs can be quite discouraging, especially for those with little to no background with how things work. That's the reason why majority of the slicer programmers would want to make things as simple and clean as possible, all while giving them options for more experienced user to access sophisticated capabilities. For this tutorial, we'll be looking into Cura 4.5 Slicer, a program that is clean yet jam-packed with excitement. So first, we'll show you how to download Cura. Simply go to Google and type Cura. The first thing that will come out is Ultimaker Cura, the software that we're finding. Click Download and choose your operating system. When you have downloaded it, just set it up with the usual language and location on your computer, as with other programs. Now that that's done, here's what you'll be seeing. The first thing you'll most probably see is what's in the middle. It is a shadow of the base plate of the printer that's currently set in Cura, with the small lines of red, green, and blue signifying X, Y, and Z respectively. Moving on to the next, the folder icon. Beside that is the name of the current printer that is set up. Now if you choose, for example, Ultimaker 3 Extended, the shadow that is seen in the middle of the screen will also change. For those who plan to use Cura for non-Ultimaker printers, this may be done by clicking Add Printer, then set it up with the correct parameters. As mentioned, each printer would have its parameters given its brand and model. Some are already available here in the selection, but for others, there are other videos available for those who need their printer set as well. Following it up is the selection of material or materials. Given that you have set up your printer parameters correctly, this will change whether you sport a single, dual, or more extruder. After choosing your material and color, you'll want to confirm your nozzle size. The standard is 0.4 mm. At the right of that is the print profile, or what others call print settings. We'll be delving into that for the latter part of the video, but for now, let's talk about the scope of the recommended settings. First is the layer height, or how thick each layer would be. The availability of these settings would depend on the capability of your printer, but for the current printer chosen with the standard of 0.4 mm nozzle attached, it is recommended by the software to print from 0.06 to 0.2 mm in height. It is said that the lower the height, the more precise the part would be, but that seems to vary a lot. But what's proven is that the bigger the layer height, the faster the object is to print. Next is the visual. It is how smooth you want your printer to print your object. Best place it higher if you want your object for display. Then engineering. How precise you want your object to be. Best crank this high if you're using the object as a functional part or if you're planning to print several parts for assembly. And then there's draft. How fast you want to print your object. If it's just for a quick visualization, no need to be as precise as to the millimeter or as smooth as a display ornament. Then there's infill. Contrary to the traditional plastic manufacturing, objects printed by 3D printers are often hollow. Hollow in a sense that only the perimeter walls are lined. Then support structures are placed inside to strengthen the part. Users are often varying this in line with how they are using the object. Does it need to be sturdy? Then print it with more materials. If it's a figurine, then just print it with lower infill. Changing the infill percentage helps save a lot of printing materials as well. Support is for overhangs, mainly for those that hang below 60 degrees towards the bed. This is also an option for the user to consider, as it may take much of the filament if you're saving. and may considerably increase or decrease print time as well. The adhesion. Adhesion is a setting for those who have trouble making their print stick to the build plate. There are several factors in play, but for beginners, as recommended by Cura, it's just on or off. So now that the top selections are done, before actually placing an object, let's talk about movement. You can use the right button on your mouse to rotate the plate as shown. Just click and hold the right mouse button, then drag. Next is to click the scroll wheel, then drag. It will move the plate towards the direction you move your mouse to. Next is rotating the scroll wheel. It is used to zoom in and out. Now that the basics are done, let us load an object to the screen. You can either click on the folder button that is initially stated, or go to the upper left and click File, then Open File. Or the simplest way for me is to just drag the STL file into the plate, then wait for the object to load. You can also drag multiple objects at once to save time. Having the objects loaded, if you see something like this, then that means that there's something wrong. For this scenario, it's because the object is outside of the build area. The simplest way to correct that is to move it where no part of the object is outside the premises. You can do that by first left-clicking the object, then dragging the arrows to the corresponding axis you want to move it. If you look carefully, you'll see options that pop out in the left side of the screen. That option is for manipulating the objects that you have selected. Right now, the selection is in moving the object in the X, Y, and Z axis. If you select the second, it will be the option to scale your object. There's an option to scale it uniformly or via a single axis. The third is rotation. This tool allows you to rotate the object into whatever position you like. It is certainly useful in ways like reducing the need for support or if you're cramping up several parts for a single printing session. The next few are mirroring, per model setting, and support blocker. These tools are less used by beginners, as it is either not that much use or may require more experience before modification. Below that is the selection of extruder that you have set up for your printer. As you have selected a part, you can click on the second extruder if you want to print it using the material or color that you have loaded in the second extruder. Typically for beginners, it is as easy as what was discussed, then click Slice in the lower right of the window. Cura also has a feature called Auto Slice, which can be easily toggled in the program settings. If that's done, then click Export, then Print. But for some of you who would like to try more of the extensive features of Cura, that is where the custom print settings comes into play. Click the print settings and click Custom. This may be mind-boggling for some, but to tell you, if you're not into experimenting, you probably won't use much of this anyway. As you progress in the field of 3D printing, you probably went through a lot of terminologies. Having said that, once you are adept to the terminologies, these settings must be self-explanatory to you, like the number of walls, infill pattern, extruder temperature, build plate temperature, print speed, and more. While you'll find my print settings extensively more, you can add or subtract the list of settings shown by clicking the settings in the upper left of the window, then select Configure, Settings Visibility, or just simply hover your mouse into the title of the print setting, then a gear icon would appear. Click it. Here in this Options tab, you can hide or show settings that you would want to hide to have a cleaner setting environment. Given that you have played with the settings and sliced your object, you can now click Preview on the top of your main bar to have a simulated view of your print. What will be shown is the most probable outcome when your print is finished. It will display the object in the color that you have set initially in the earlier part of the video. You can also play the simulations from start to finish, or if you would like to see how the printer does in certain parts of the print. As a disclaimer, This is just a simulation, and external factors may come into play during the actual printing. Cura, like other slicers, tend to evolve over time, which is why some users tend to switch to a different slicer, and at the same time, gain new users. As one of the pioneers that pushes the limit of slicers, Cura gained a respectable position in the 3D printing world. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and stay tuned for another Cura video focusing on its experimental settings.